Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jennifer Fink. One mystery that no one can seem to solve: who is Andrew Cunanan and what is driving him to such violence? Those who knew two key figures in this bizarre tale, Cunanan and Minneapolis architect David Mattson, have formed their own theories about the killer's motive. Lori Aoki explains.
26-year-old Patrick Jarmusic struggles with the fact that the Andrew Da Silva he met 3 years ago in San Diego was actually a killer by the name of Andrew Cunanan.
He was just a really, really upbeat, very high-spirited person, and just really a pleasure to be around. And, you know, every time I went out, I always said hi to him, you know, always look forward to talking to him. I could have the worst day and feel better, you know. Kind of person you want to be around when you're out.
Jarmusic moved to the Twin Cities in February, but he didn't see Cunanan in April, something he now considers a blessing. He predicts Cunanan won't be caught alive.
He's very strong in his will, and to give himself up for him that'd be admitting defeat, and he'd rather die a legend than go to prison.
A man who only wants us to identify him as Ron says he was involved with David Mattson from July to November of last year. Ron remembers harassing phone calls to Mattson's warehouse apartment at all times of the day and night. Calls Mattson would later tell him were from Andrew. Mattson broke off their relationship in November, telling Ron it was for his own safety. On April 15th, the last time Ron saw Mattson, he had this warning.
The last time I seen him, he told me, whatever you do, when you see me from this day on forward, and if I'm in the bar with somebody, whatever you do, don't say nothing to me.
Ron regrets he didn't do more to prevent his friend's death, but realizes if he had, his own life could be in jeopardy. Neither he nor Patrick will feel safe until Cunanan is caught.
Because the sooner he's caught or taken down, the faster that this community and the country can rest. And that's the whole thing. He's putting this whole country on real frazzled nerves. You know, and he's already proven that nobody's safe.
Jarmusic met with FBI agents who are trying to better understand what makes Cunanan tick. If Cunanan does what his friend thinks he will and won't let the FBI catch him alive, we may never know the reasons or motives for his killing spree. My son is not a high-class male prostitute. That, according to Cunanan's father Modesto, who's a fugitive himself after fleeing San Diego, where he was a stockbroker. The elder Cunanan said he doesn't believe his son killed Versace. Quote, he had a Catholic upbringing. He was an altar boy, unquote. Thursday, police located Modesto Cunanan. It's unclear if or when he will be brought back to the United States. Hundreds of friends and admirers gathered at a memorial mass for Gianni Versace. The service held at St. Patrick's Catholic Church included the Italian Consul General in Miami. The ashes of Versace were taken by his family to a lakeside town in Italy. At sundown, the family gathered in a tiny chapel for a 20-minute ceremony. There will be a memorial service for the designer on Tuesday in Milan. Two Richfield police officers are on administrative leave tonight after a woman claims she was raped by them. Now the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension is investigating. The BCA plans to reconstruct the chronology of events by using police logs in hopes of finding out what really happened. The BCA and the Richfield Police Department are taking the woman's claims very seriously. The two officers will remain on administrative leave until the BCA completes its investigation. Then the case will go before the Hennepin County Attorney for review. At that time, they'll determine if there's enough evidence for charges. A shooting last night in Richfield turned fatal. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner says 21-year-old Andre Kamitrick died after being shot several times at this Richfield apartment complex. Police say 3 people were shot after an argument at the Hampton Apartments on the 600 block of East 77th Street. The 3 victims were near the pool area when the argument began. 2 men were arrested in connection with the shooting. Richfield police say they plan to charge both in the murder. More controversy at the Minneapolis Fire Department about the discrimination case involving the cadets who were fired last fall. Some council members want the fire chief to step down. Vida Urbonis has the latest.
I am calling for the immediate resignation of Fire Chief Tom Dickinson.
1 week after a major discrimination ruling against the Minneapolis Fire Department, the Civil Rights Action Committee and council member Brian Herron want the chief out.
He is not a manager of people, and he is not accepting of the diversity and has, in my opinion, and in the opinion, obviously, of the court, has done things to violate the court order which we are under.
At City Hall, Herron is pushing the other council members hard, circulating a petition for the chief's resignation. Only 3 of 13 council members have signed.
Concerned about the outside hose line.
6 weeks into training last fall, 6 minority cadets were disqualified from the department, all tested and apparently found psychologically unfit. But a federal judge reversed the decision, reinstating all of them. The judge ruled that decisions were based on prejudicial arrest records, a violation of a 27-year-old court order. Chief Dickinson thought gang members were infiltrating the department, and he said as much in a taped deposition last fall.
It's fairly obvious that we're hiring gang members.
This is not the first time that this city and its administrations have been in contempt of the court order in 1979, 1991, and now 1997.
The mayor isn't buying into any request for the chief's resignation. In her statement, she calls it a blind request and perhaps politically motivated. And clearly, for now, the city is willing to take considerable political and legal heat. Minneapolis still claims its fire department is one of the most diversified departments in city government. Vita Urbonis, Minnesota 9 News.
Chief Tom Dickinson did not return our phone calls. We want to make something clear. The department is allowed to look at recent criminal convictions, but we're talking convictions, not simply arrest pickups. The cadets must also know that's why they're being disqualified. Hurricane Danny bears down on the Gulf Coast. We'll have a live report. Also, why Andrew Cunanan does not fit the classic description of a serial killer. Plus, in this dog-eat-dog world, we'll show you how to keep fleas from making a meal out of your dog.